pull back. That is just incredibly incendiary at a moment of incredible sensitivity to say something like that, to allege whatever they means. There's no context to who they are who are trying to keep them off the ballot, but they tried to put him in jail, and now you see this.
Trump's top campaign advisor in many ways.
Exactly. Those words have extreme weight.
That's the brainstems and establishment news condemning rhetoric after the failed assassination attempt on Donald Trump, while completely ignoring the fact that they've called him a psychopathic authoritarian monster every day for the past 8 years. Welcome to Nerk News, I'm Nerkish, and boy oh boy has the media been busy deflecting responsibility to anyone and everyone they can. Here's a useless reporter on CBS highlighting why it's not a good idea to have hysterical liberal women pretend to be journalists.
There's anger, though, from the Trump side. This is a new social media post from Chris LaCivita, who is one of the top campaign advisors to Trump. He said they tried to keep Trump.
I hear nothing.
They tried to keep Trump off the ballot, and they tried to put him in jail, and now you see this. So you see a politically charged response from Chris LaCivita.
Taking it right to where Democrats are trying to prevent it from going. You saw former Speaker Pelosi issue a statement talking about the political violence her family had experienced and condemning it in this context and saying how glad she was that former President Trump is safe. You have the expectation that the White House will soon issue some kind of statement. We know that both the vice president and the president have been briefed on what's been going on. They themselves, of course, have Secret Service detail, and you have to imagine that there's an alert level across the board right now. But one of the things that, separate topic, very much related, the language around this campaign has been about us versus the system, me versus them, that all the legal cases against Donald Trump he claims are politically motivated to prevent him from re-election. By alleging that there is a connection to this attempt on his life, it would escalate that.
Well, there you go, guys. Don't talk about being against the system because it could be considered violence, okay? I mean, sure, it's legitimately been the rhetoric of the left for decades, but now that they're the status quo, it's really kind of dangerous to talk like that. Now, as idiotic as that sounds, it didn't end there. CNN was also upset with Trump for not calling for a unity immediately after being shot, which is a sentiment we've seen echoed by crazy liberals on social media.
And he closes with God Bless America, and we saw him raise his hand in the air defiantly, blood on his face as he left the stage.
He is recovering from these injuries now. This was a traumatic event, no doubt, for him, but I did notice there was no call for lowering the temperature, condemning all political violence, and really trying to signal to his supporters as well not to retaliate or to have any kind of escalation here. I just am looking at these statements.
There's a belief in his inner circle that he's under siege after being attacked at his rally. And so there's a lot of every text message I'm getting.
Exactly, digest it like you're saying.
I mean, every single text message, literally every single one from Trump sources is outraged and shocked. And so that is certainly the mood inside the highest ranks of the Republican Party, speaking to CBS News tonight.
Now, you might be surprised to learn that someone at CBS actually has more than a double-digit IQ and realize that maybe Margaret Brennan should pump the brakes on bashing Trump and Republicans for 2 seconds. So without further ado, here's her first attempt at an improvised apology. I'm sure it'll be very authentic and heartfelt.
And, you know, Bob, in our conversation earlier when you were explaining to us what the former president said to describe his injuries, when he described what he said, he was hit by a bullet in his ear. I pointed out that he didn't call for his supporters to take a breath and step back. And the reason I made that comment, it's not that it's without empathy or concern. I think we all have great concern about our candidates, their health, their safety. But it is to say the concern about the heightened threat level, the fact that Americans are on edge, exactly what Congressman Kelly was saying in our phoner. He said, everyone take a breath, and that we have to be responsible for protecting our democracy, and that the words we use, the rhetoric we use, is part of that.
Oh, she was just concerned about saving democracy, guys. I see. I'm sure it had nothing to do with her being part of an industry that has done nothing but lie and gaslight Americans for years through fear-mongering and inflammatory rhetoric about their political opponents. Let's have her try it again with some makeup on this time.
Our country has been living in a heightened threat environment for some time now. Yesterday's assassination attempt against Mr. Trump confirmed our greatest fears. Last night, we reported on inflammatory statements made by some of our elected or political leaders and some of those who had called for calm. Mr. Trump issued a statement after his traumatic experience, and I noted that his statement did not include a call to lower the temperature. It was not meant as a critique, but rather an observation I made in the moment of that breaking news. Today, he said that, quote, "In this moment, it is more important than ever that we stand united." So in that spirit, let's all hope for a safe campaign for all of those involved. And the former president and his family deserve our empathy after what happened. I wish him and his family the best as he recovers from the attempt on his life. Until next week, for Face the Nation, I'm Margaret Brennan.
Perfect. Spoken like a true sociopath who's ideologically captured and sold their soul for the illusion of influence. You know, you can tell how little they think of their audience by how they talk to them like children, which I assume is precisely why they try to scare them with 24/7 fear-mongering and why they're absolutely terrified of being held accountable for doing so. But let me know what you think. Are Republicans responding to the attack on Trump poorly? Let me know in the comments, and if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel. That stuff really does help us out. Until then, this has been Nerk News. Thanks for watching. Bye!